5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 515 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday, another day here in the arena, guys, as we finish off the second half of the month of May. And we're going to get to what we love to do, which is betting Major League Baseball. But a quick comment. Again, I do have a 3-pack of sweats for you today, guys, all 3 of which are relatively short money line favorites. Or we'll see if we can try to go 2-1, eke out a winning night, keep our winning streak going. More on that in a second. This was a very good night last night. But a quick comment on betting the NBA, because I tell you what, guys, when I'm trying to figure out what plays we're going to talk about on the podcast, I try to go to the sports where we have the greatest edge, where we're turning the biggest profit, because, again, the whole point of this pod is to teach the data-driven approach, how to interpret line movement, how to, identify sharp action, how to go contrarian, how to make those data-driven bets that we love to make. But my other thought is, hey, let's not just, hit on every sport for the sake of hitting on every sport. Let's do what a friend of mine and a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, which is try to maximize your edge. Like, if you are good at baseball and you're turning a profit and you're watching it every day, tracking the lines every day, keeping aware of all the intricacies of the sport, then why would you force a soccer bet or a NHL playoff bet or an NBA bet if you don't have an edge? Because, again, we want to be good at all sports, but we got to be honest with ourselves, realistic, and say, hey, some sports are better than others. Some sports we have more system matches or edges. So let's focus on the sports that are making us money, which to me is really baseball, of course. But I will give you a little insight, because yesterday I was debating whether or not to play the Spurs-Thunders over. Obviously, it went over. But did you watch that game last night? Because that total, it was kind of crazy. It opened like 217.5. It got all the way up to 221.5. And then about the last hour or so before tip-off, it got all the way back down to 219.5 or even 218.5. So it started again, 217.5, got up to 221-ish, came back down to 219.5-ish. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I was saying to myself, okay, I kind of want to play this over because I saw it rise, and I did see a pretty good bet split from Circa on the over, as well as a good Rhythm system match recommending the over. I think Rhythm had it closer to like 222 or so, or 224. But again, here's the thing. If I had played the over 221.5 at the time of the pot, I remember that was the number, I would have gotten beat by the closing line because the line closed 219.5. So I would have gotten an over 221.5 when all late money was breaking under. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, and here's the other thing. When you have a 3-pack, the beauty of, to me, with a 3-pack of MLB plays is the goal is always trying to eke out a 2-1 night. If you have, 4 bets and you go, 2-2 with moneyline favorites, it's actually a losing night based on the juice. Again, 4 plays with some dogs, you might go 2-2, eke out a profit. But whole point being is, I saw that line move to the over. It matched a couple angles for me, the splits, the steam to the over. There was also a great angle I noticed someone tweeted out about game 1 of conference finals going over quite a bit historically. But then here's the thing. I would have gotten over 221.5 when it closed 218.5, 219.5. So therefore, I read the market correctly. I bet the worst of the number. And then if you were watching that game, I was watching baseball mostly, but I turned the game on late, Spurs Thunder. It was a great game, but it's like, 98 to 97 with a minute left in the fourth quarter. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't play that over. And then this is the crazy thing about sports. That was a dead beat under the entire time. I mean, that smart money late, that was 221.5, bringing it back down to 219.5, 218.5, that late steam, which typically we want to be on the side of late movement. That was super sharp because you're watching that game. Hey, that's a dead beat under. They're barely cracking 200 points. But then this is why sports betting is crazy. What happens? Both teams have a chance to win it at the buzzer. It goes to overtime. Then, you believe it or not, they still could have gone under. But then it goes to the second overtime. And then, of course, Spurs end up winning 122 to 115. So it ends up with, 237. But my whole point of mentioning this is that, okay, if I had played the over, I would have won the bet. but I also would have been against the late smart money. And what did it take for that over to hit? Double overtime. So that was just affirmation to me, or reaffirmation, whatever you want to call it. Another example of let's not force bets in other sports where we don't have the same type of data, angles, and insight that we do with baseball. Like, to me, the beauty of baseball is that it's every day, 15 games a day for 6+ months. So once you get into the grind of it, and a lot of people don't love that angle of it, like it just seems overwhelming. There's too many games every day. It's a long season. You hear people talk about that as a negative. I think that's a positive as a sports bettor, because it just means that if you do get on that roller coaster on opening day and you stay on that roller coaster all year, you just have a really good finger on the pulse of what's going on in that sport. So I just wanted to bring that up because I had a couple people DM me and say, hey, you like that Spurs Thunder over? And I'm like, oh, I kind of did. But then again, late move was under, and it took 2 overtimes, double overtime, to cash that over. So again, if you played the over, congrats. And if you maybe got an under, here's the cruel thing about sports betting. Imagine you got under 221.5, you high watermarked it, it closes 219.5, you crush that closing line, and you are looking at a deadbeat under after regulation and even after the first OT. And then what happens? It goes to overtime. So anyone you know who had that under, pour one out for them. That is a tough one. But to me, that was just an example of, hey, I'm not going to force some NBA plays right now because NBA is hard and it's unpredictable, and we got our finger on the pulse of MLB. So let's stay where we can maximize our edge. Bringing that up because last night, we maximized our edge to the fullest. 3-0. Bust out the brooms, a sweep, plus 2.3 units. It might have even been a bigger night for you if you took advantage of some of those odds boosts. Had a great hit with the Tampa Bay Rays. Didn't have to sweat that one, man. 16-6. That's a football score. Bats went nuts. Great winner by Tampa. D-backs late night won 12-2 over San Fran. That was fantastic. And then Minnesota, they made us sweat a little bit, and it had me digging into my house rules because that was a rain delay going into the bottom of the 5th, and it would have depended on house rules. Like a lot of bets, I was actually thinking, hey, just call the game, because a lot of books would have paid out Twins at the time. They're up, I think they're up 3-0. But then 2-hour rain delay, they get the game going later. They win 6-3. But Astros were threatening in the 9th, and they had 2 guys on tying run at the plate with Yordan Alvarez, and he struck out. So Minnesota hung on, but that just gets you to think about house rules and how your book would have graded that if it would have been a rain-shortened winner. But either way, guys, 3-0 plus 2.3 units. So let's stick to Major League Baseball. With that being said, let's waste no further time and get to our 3 plays for tonight. And you guys know the drill. Let's try to scratch and claw, go 2-1, eke out a winning night. So first but on the board, let's go to a 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time first pitch. Cincinnati Redlegs visiting the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Phillies come in 25-23 on the year. They've completely turned it around. I think they're like 15-5 with Don Mattingly. But they won the series opener 5-4 last night. Came from behind to cash as a -125 home favorite. Pitching rematch for tonight, Reds, who are 24-24. They're kind of going the other way. They had a great start, and they've started to tail off. They're going to go with their young righty stud Chase Burns, 5-1, 1.87 ERA. Meanwhile, the Phils are going to go with the lefty Jesus Luzardo. He's 3-3 with a 5.07 ERA. Now, what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened Philly, listed around a -135 home favorite, Cincy around a +115 road dog. And Sharps riding the fight in Mattingly's here, because we've seen this line get steamed up toward the Phillies, -135 up to -145. Good bet split at circa. Only 45% of moneyline bets, but 66% of moneyline dollars are coming in on the Phils. So technically a sharp contrarian reverse line move going on Philly, as a slight majority of tickets on Cincy at the line move toward Philly. And then I have 2 really good system matches that I was playing with a little bit, because I try to look at scenarios, and if I see a game is sharp, I try to recreate it and see if there's a winning angle. And I found 2 with Philly tonight. If you are a home favorite off a win with a winning record, and you made the playoffs the previous season, Phillies match. Those teams are 51-26, 66%, 9% ROI this year. And if you're a home favorite off a win with a winning record who made the playoffs, and you're not that expensive, you're -150 or less, which matches with the Phils, those teams are 22-8, 73%, 31% ROI this year. So 2 good systems on Philly. Philly would also be that non-division favorite, lack of familiarity, benefiting quote-unquote the better team. Now, on paper, Burns v. Luzardo, seems like Burns is better. He's got better stats. But hopefully this is an angle to our advantage. The Reds against lefties this year. They're only hitting 209. That ranks 28th in baseball. So one of the worst teams in baseball against lefties, facing a southpaw tonight. Also, Phillies have the better bullpen. Team ERA of 3.84. That's 13th in baseball. Might not sound great, but the Reds are 27th. They have a 5.06 ERA. So, Philly's been hot since Mattingly took over for Thompson. And we have a line move, a good split, two good angles for betting system matches. Reds have struggled against lefties, better bullpen. And oh, by the way, Popped Open Rhythm noticed one rhythm recommendation lighting up on Philly. So the AI model also likes Philly here. So a little bit early, 6:40 p.m. Again, hopefully you bet this game early, and it's 6:59. You're rushing to get your bets in, and hopefully Philly's already up 1-0. But I am going Phils here, guys. I got Philly minus 143 at Bally Bet. Shop around. Most books are minus 145. Some books even closer to minus 150. But let's go Phils. Next one for you. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Pittsburgh Pirates visiting the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, Pirates come in 24-23 on the year. They just got swept by, guess who? The Phils, who we just talked about. Lost that series finale 6-0 as a minus 130 home favorite. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, honestly, I thought they'd be one of the worst teams in baseball, but they've been really good. 27-19. They had one of the lower win totals. I think they were in the low, high 60s maybe. But they just took 2 out of 3 against the Royals. Didn't get the sweep, though. They lost that series finale 2-0 as a minus 120 home favorite. So, tonight's series opener, Pirates are going with the righty Mitch Keller. He's 4-2 with a 3.59 ERA. He'll be opposed by the Cardinals lefty Matthew Liberatore. He's 2-2 with an ERA of 4.40. Now, what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened at basically a pick'em. Minus 110 odds, both sides. Now, what do we always talk about with a pick'em opener? Always mention the fact that, hey, pick'em it's a coin flip. So basically the teams are even. However, wise guys who set their own numbers, wise guys who are looking for an edge, if it opens as a pick'em and their internal numbers say pick'em as well, then they're not going to bet the game because there's no advantage over the book. However, wise guys may disagree. Books may open a minus 110, but maybe they have one team minus 115, minus 120. Therefore, they will bet the game because that provides an edge over the book. And it looks like the edge here, knock on wood, is in favor of the Cardinals. I'm going Cards here, guys, because they open minus 110. They've now been bet up to minus 115. Some books even closer to minus 120. So since the game opened, it's been nothing but leaning towards St. Louis. This never flipped and got to, Pittsburgh minus 115. So it tells me liability sneaky on St. Louis tonight. Now, you look at circa 83% moneyline bets, 96% moneyline dollars on the Cardinals. So it tells me we have a lot of big, sharp Vegas money coming in on St. Louis. System match here. Now, both teams were off yesterday. So when you see both teams coming off a day off, take the home favorite. Very simple system, but it's 33-16, 67%, 13% ROI this year. Since the start of last year, it's 129-73, 64%, with a nearly 5% ROI. Then we have another system match that we just overlapped with. Home favorites priced minus 140 or less. They are 126-91, 58%, 5% ROI this year. Or I guess it's a different system. But I was looking at sweet spots, because you look at favorites, they perform better at home than on the road this year. And then if you just isolate the cheaper ones, minus 140 or less, again, 58%, 5% ROI. But if the home favorite minus 140 or less is also facing an opponent who missed the playoffs the previous year, that system is 80-53, 60%, 8% ROI this year. Mitch Keller, he's great during the day. He's got a 1.73 ERA in day games. Night games, 6.23. This is a night game in St. Louis. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, 6-3 in Liberatore's 9 starts this year. So hopefully they got some mojo, some confidence behind him. And oh, by the way, Pirates, they don't hit well on the road. Knock on wood, let's hope that continues. They're only hitting 217 as a visitor this year. That's 28th in MLB. So we open as a pick'em, but the line's moving towards St. Louis. Tells me we got smart money on the Cards. Oh, by the way, Popped Open Rhythm and noticed a Green Star Smart Signal Lightning Bolt AI model match recommendation on the Cardinals. So I love the fact that the AI model also likes St. Louis here. So second bet for me, guys. If you'd like to join, I got the Cards minus 114 at Bally Bet. Again, shop around. A lot of books are minus 115, even minus 120. Let's go Cards. Last bet of the night. Athletics visiting the LA Angels. Now, this is a 9:38 p.m. Eastern Time first pitch. Angels are 17-31, not a great record, but they did come from behind to win 2-1 last night as a plus 110 home dog. This was a heartbreaker if you were JT Ginn or the Athletics. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Athletics were up 1-0, and JT Ginn was pitching a no-hitter. So he went into the ninth with a no-hitter, gave up, put a guy on, and then Zach Neto hit a home run to walk it off. So talk about losing a no-hitter and losing the game. That's brutal. But you know what? I'm hoping the A's lose again. I like the Athletics. I like the Angels here tonight, guys. Rematch for tonight, the A's, who are 23-24. They're going to go with the lefty Jacob Lopez. He's 3-2 with a 5.80 ERA. Halos, meanwhile, going to go with another lefty, Reed Detmers, 1-4, 4.38 ERA. Now, what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened LA, listed as a minus 125 home favorite. Athletics, a plus 105 road dog. And the public is saying, give me the A's. You know, the Angels are only 17-31. Yeah, they walked it off last night, but they have a terrible record. Why is LA minus 125? Again, this should be a pick 'em. This should be A's favorite. That's what the public's saying. So you're getting nearly 60% of money line bets taking the A's, but the line has actually moved further toward the Angels. That's why I like the Angels, guys. We have a fade the trendy dog. Woo woo! Fade the trendy dog alert. More than half the tickets on the A's, but the line's going to the Angels. Minus 125 up to minus 135. So it tells me we got sharp RLM hitting the Angels. You look at Circa, great split on the Angels. Only 30% money line bets, but 81% money line dollars. Low bets, higher dollar split from the pro bettors in Vegas, going hard on the Angels. And then we have two systems that just matched with Philly. Home favorites priced minus 140 or less. They are 126-91. This was the same match that was on St. Louis. Home favorites minus 140 or less, 58%, 5% ROI this year. If they're facing an opponent who missed the playoffs, 60%, 8% ROI this year. Now, Lopez, I want to fade him. He has made 3 May starts, ERA of 5.74, giving up 10 earned runs and 15.2 innings pitched. Meanwhile, Detmers, he's been better in May, 4.60 ERA, giving up 8 runs and 15.2 innings pitched. And his day-night splits, he's better at night. During the day, 6.60 ERA at night, 3.41. So hopefully Detmers pitches well. And then I had another angle here. Both teams are below 500. So when both teams are losing records, sub 500 records, take the home favorite off a win. That system is 28-17, 62%, 6% ROI. So we have a kind of fishy. LA's got a terrible record, yet they're a favorite. They become more of a favorite, even though the public's on the A's. And oh, by the way, we have 2 rhythm recommendations, both lighting up on the Angels as well. So I got the Angels minus 132 at FanDuel. Shop around, though, because a lot of books are minus 135, even minus 140. So again, 3 relatively short favorites, Phillies, Cardinals, Angels. Let's see if we can get 2 out of 3 and get a winning night. So that about does it for episode 515 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up, and I always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, out of your busy lives. I know you got a lot going on, but you make time to get 20 minutes or so listening to sharp betting breakdowns, sweating some games with me. I very much appreciate that. Hopefully you guys feel like you're getting some good insights. But if you do enjoy the pod, please help me grow this podcast. Give it a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. Recommend the pod to a friend, fellow sports bettor, who might want to get a different take on how to bet on sports. Click the follow button. Again, retweet the pod when I put it out on Twitter or like it. Hey, I'll take any of those. But if you'd like to support the pod in any of those different ways, it would make my day. Next, if you enjoy this style of sports betting, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on not what our bias, what our gut is telling us. Again, people always say, trust your gut. No, not in sports betting. Your gut's usually wrong. Go with the numbers. But if you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or you're looking to get a Father's Day gift for somebody in your life, or you just want to, maybe there's someone in your life who could use some data-driven tips or wants to get into sports betting, I'd love for you to go to Amazon.com and then type in the Everything Guide to Sports Betting, or type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook. Those are the 2 books that I've written. Very proud of both. Great insights If you want to grab one or both of them, I would love that. You really want to make my day, give it a 5-star review and a nice comment on Amazon, and then bring them to the sportsbook. I'll sign them for you, and I'll buy you a beer. And we'll get some nachos and sweat some baseball together. That sounds fun. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? Well, if you haven't, go do it now. They're two of my favorite sports betting apps. Rhythm does a great job of powering this pod with AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. I'm always mentioning the Rhythm MLB recommendations, but just know there's NBA player props, there's MLB player props, there's WNBA, all available to you when you download Rhythm. And then, of course, Juice Reel. Juice Reel is another great sports betting app. You can sync up your sports books, get a running report card of your action, get your CLV indicators before the game starts, just see how the line is moving once you bet it, and then between that time and first pitch. Also, you're going to get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the Sharp Mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures. And then if you want to support the pod, I would love for you to sign up for the All Systems Go best bet picks, which you can get exclusively on Juice Reel. You can get them earlier in the day. You know, if you listen to the pod and have a notebook or write the plays down, hey, that's one way to do it. But if you want to get them earlier, beat some closing lines, and more importantly, support your podcast hosts. And again, I consider it a tip jar. The pod's free. So if you want to tip your podcast hosts or help fund my baby's childcare, which is going to be a lot of money and ridiculously expensive, I would love for you to get those best bet picks on Juice Reel. It will cost you $9.99 a week to get all the plays. So a little bit more than $1 a day to get every play. And you will get those directly once they are released. And any of you who have decided to stick around and continue to get those plays, or you just want to give it a shot, it means a lot to me. So I really, really, really appreciate that. So go download Rhythm, go download Juice Reel, give them both a 5-star review in the App Store. Lastly, do you have a live odds page? Well, if you don't have one, you need one. It's such a critical tool. It's so important to becoming a data-driven bettor because you got to get access to accurate, reliable data. Got to be able to track the market in real time. The market's fluid. It's constantly changing. You got to know what the line opened at. Where is it now? I can't tell you how many times I see on Twitter people, and I don't blame them too much because it took me a while. I had some great mentors, but they'll talk about a game and they won't even mention, okay, I love the Knicks -7 tonight. Okay, well, did they open at -6? Did they open -8? Where are the splits at? I mean, people, it's just such a critical tool, but it goes completely overlooked. And I think in order to be the best bettor you can be, you got to lean more on data than you do opinion. That's really not breaking any news there. But for me, it all starts with the Odds Logic live odds page. You get all the games on the board, live scoring, live in-game wagering odds, but it's all the work you're going to do pre-flop before the game starts, comparing the opening column to the current, first seeing, okay, which direction has the line moved, pull up the line history, and then shop for the best price, find the book offering the best number, identify steam when the odds get lit up in red and the line's moving. You can check all that out with Odds Logic. So if you want to give it a shot, see if you like it, I'm almost positive you're going to like it. But all you got to do is use this special link, oddslogic.com/Josh123. That's going to give you a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month of service. Again, oddslogic.com/Josh123. So that about does it for episode 515 of the ASG pod on a big Tuesday. Two final thoughts or two final things to leave you with. As always, guys, one, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, or the Nash, which is closest to me on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire, or out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays, jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa, wherever it may be, you're going to walk up to me. We're both going to be entering the sportsbook floor. We're going to see each other from across the floor. We're going to knock on the janitor's closet, bust open the door, grab a broom, do a little Fred Astaire dance on the sportsbook floor, because that's what we love to do when we get a sweep, baby. You're going to show me 3 beautiful winning tickets. Show me a D-backs ticket, a Twins ticket, a Tampa Bay Rays ticket. First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post about the book, Sweat More Baseball, all night tonight. So as always, guys, coming off a 3-0 or an 0-3, a 2-1 or a 1-2, a great night, a terrible night, a winning night, a losing night, a hot streak, a cold streak. Again, when things are going well, we can't get arrogant and cocky and double down and think we're invincible. But when things aren't going our way and we can't seem to find a winner, we can't get down on ourselves. We can't quit. We can't smash our TV. We just got to stay even-keeled. Not get too high, not get too low. be disciplined with our bankroll management, and stick to the model. And that model goes something like this. We're looking for games that are against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet. Avoid parlays and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So hope everyone has a great Tuesday night. Let's get some winners on the diamond, and then we'll be right back at it tomorrow for a Hump Day edition. That'll be a Wednesday edition, episode 516 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Tuesday night.